What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 75th Java tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over how to handle those mouse events. So in the first tutorial we built a window. So let's go ahead and go outside our constructor right here, and we want to make a new class. And let's go ahead and make it private class, and you got to name it whatever you named it up here. So I named mine handler class. And then what we want to do is implement from two other classes. So implements mouse listener, and it also implements mouse motion listener. So hopefully those errors go away, and they did. So now what implement means is we have to use every method that was in the class mouse listener, and there are 5 methods in this, and mouse motion listener, and there are 2 methods in this. So what Java did is they put methods inside mouse listener and mouse motion listener to automatically detect mouse events. So whenever you move your mouse, it's going to be registered in an object called an event. So let's go ahead and I'll just start building these methods, and you'll see exactly what happens. So the first methods we need to implement are those 5 methods from mouse listener, and these are mouse press, mouse clicked, mouse released, mouse entered, and mouse exited. And I'm going to tell you guys what these do when I go through them, but for now let's go ahead and build our first one. So public void mouse clicked, and what this does, it is whenever you click down the mouse. And what this means, and I know you guys probably saying, alright, I know what click means. When you press and release the mouse really quick, wow, embarrassing, that is a click. Now a mouse press and a mouse release are 2 different things, so maybe you guys didn't know what click meant after all. But this is what Java defines a click as. So and all of these parameters are going to take something called this mouse event. So you might as well just go ahead and copy that like that, because we're going to be using it a lot later on. So now whatever we type in here is finally what we want to happen when the mouse gets clicked. So let's go ahead and take that status bar, and we want to change the text on it. So status bar dot set text, and what do we want to set the text equal to? Well, let's just go ahead and put let's put string format, and in our format parameters it takes 2 parameters itself, and the first one is clicked at %d, %d. So it's going to say clicked at 2 coordinates, and Java also has 2 coordinates based on this event right here. Why do you have this event? Because it registers the event. Like when you click, it decides where it clicked. And you can get to the locations by clicking event get x, and also, you guys probably can't see this. Is that a little better? And also event dot get y with empty parameters. So now whenever you click this, you get the x coordinate and the y coordinate of where the event happened. And you guys can see this later on, but for now let's go to the next event. The next ones will be a lot easier. I just want to demonstrate that you can get the x coordinate and get the y coordinate in one of them, but in the rest of the methods I'm going to make them real simple. So we made something that happens when the mouse is clicked, but we need to implement the rest of the functionality. And the second one that we need to implement is public void mouse released, and this is what happens when you release that mouse button. So actually, let's go, the second one is mouse pressed, that people usually do. So let's go ahead, and mouse pressed is what happens when you press down that mouse button. So go ahead and throw your mouse event parameters in there. And for the body, let's just go ahead and put something like status bar dot set text. This is going to change the text on our status bar to like you pressed down the mouse. So now this is what happens, the status bar is going to pop up this text whenever we press down the mouse. And now we can get the public void mouse released, and this is the event of when the mouse releases, or after you press it down, you let go of the button. So this is a lot easier to see with our program actually. So let's just go ahead and copy this now because we are too lazy. And it's going to say mouse release, so you release the button. So now we have three methods that we implemented. What happens when you click the mouse, what happens when you press and release the mouse. And believe it or not, these are actually three separate things. I know you think press and release is the same thing as clicking, but trust me, to Java it isn't. So now in this class there are two other methods that we need to implement. Public void mouse entered, and what this is going to take is of course our mouse event. First of all, can't forget that. Paste that baby right there. That's what I'm talking about. And what mouse entered means is this is the event when the mouse enters the area, and our area is of course where are you? Mouse panel right here. So this is what's going to happen whenever the mouse enters the mouse panel. So remember, up here we put it at white by default. So now let's go ahead and change that. Actually, the first thing we can do is put status bar dot set the text to something like you enter the area. Not bad. And now let's go ahead and change the color of our mouse panel. So mouse panel dot set background, not background, set background. And what do we want to set it to when the mouse enters? Just put something noticeable, color dot red or something like that. I mean, red's pretty noticeable, come on. So of course you're wondering, alright, you have a mouse entered method. Something tells me that you're probably going to have a mouse exited method as well. Well, if you guessed that, then you would be correct. So public void mouse exited. Make sure I didn't spell excited. I do that sometimes because I myself get excited about this method sometimes. So you know, it happens. So go ahead and type mouse event, nothing new. So what this happens whenever the mouse exits the window, pretty much in essence. So the first thing we want to do is set status bar, set text, and we put the mouse has left the window. Bam, pretty much. Make sure you spell the wrong. Make sure you put he instead, because I'm too lazy to fix it. Although I easily could have just fixed it right there. Anyways, enough of that. So now let's take that mouse panel, and whenever the mouse is in the window, it's going to be red. So whenever we exit the window, let's go ahead and set background. We'll just set this to I guess white again. I mean, why not? Make sure we don't got any errors, and we didn't. So all of these 5 methods right here, these are the mouse listener events. But again, we implemented for mouse listener and mouse motion listener. Lucky for us, mouse listener has 5 methods, which we already did, and mouse motion listener, which is the ones that the methods are mouse dragged and mouse moved, it only has 2. So this one's going to be a lot easier. So in the next tutorial, we're going to finish up building this program, and all we have to do is implement these 2 methods, mouse motion listener, which are, like I said, dragged and moved. And once we do that, we can finally run our program and see what it does. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. But for now, thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you for learning Java with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next tutorial.